everyone, I am Melanie Youngsman with the Lansing Journal, and today we are just outside of Lansing with Adam Barker.
Hi, Melanie.
Some people know him as the Chicken Man. If you've been reading our coverage of the story about chickens in Lansing, you know that Adam has been at a couple of different board meetings. He's written a few articles for the Lansing Journal about owning chickens. And Josh and I talked about this and decided, chickens, that's the kind of story that really needs visuals. So we wanted to come and actually see the chickens and smell the coop and hear what's going on. So Adam allowed us to come visit his chickens here just outside of Lansing.
Here we are.
Thank you,
Thanks
Adam.
for coming, Melanie.
So you have this coop.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got this coop.
I bought this coop used. I got a great deal on it. It's obviously functional and cute, which was important.
It's adorable.
And it came with loads of great equipment and 4 mature chickens that were already laying eggs just about every day. So yeah, it was a great deal.
So when you talk about equipment for chickens, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, obviously you've got food and water. So you can see here, this sort of hanging pail is a feeder that will hold food for almost a week. And then in the back, you've got the PVC pipe, and there's a big pipe on the back here that holds a bunch of water. And that'll hold enough for also 4 or 5 days. So you don't have to worry about managing those every day, which is really nice. And then this small red feeder here has a calcium supplement that helps the chickens, the shells of the eggs, be stronger so they don't crack, as well as something called grit, which is a digestive aid for chickens. And then on the bottom there, that's just a standard plastic tub with wood ash in it that allows the chickens to dust bathe to keep themselves clean.
So is this like the main coop, or?
This is technically what you would call the run, the outside area. The inside is what would technically be called the coop. Let me show you that here.
Oh, there's more.
So this coop and run together are just the right size for 4 chickens. You need at least 2 square feet per bird inside and 4 per bird outside. That's just about what this coop meets, which is great. This is basically where the chickens will sleep, on the bars. On the right there, you've got nesting boxes, which is where they typically lay their eggs. And then this is just general bedding made up at this point of wood shavings and hay, where they'll lay eggs and where a lot of the manure will get dropped. You'll also see a lot of feathers there. Right now the chickens are molting, which is a process every fall when it starts to get cold where they shed and regrow some feathers. So that's why there's a bunch of feathers around.
You mentioned manure, Adam.
Yes, the scary part.
The M word.
Mm-hmm.
So there is manure in here right now.
There is, yeah, and actually lots of it. This coop has not been fully cleaned out and replenished in, I would say, 4 or 5 weeks at this point, which may sound like negligence on my part, but if you do things responsibly, you can get away with that just fine. When you find fresh manure on top of the bedding, all you've got to do is use a stick or a shovel to kind of mix it into the fresh bedding to keep it dry, because the moisture is what produces the odor. Or I should say, you can also add fresh bedding on top of fresh manure. So that's what I started here with wood shavings, and then have added some of that hay in the last couple of weeks. And then probably in the next few weeks here, this will need a full clean out, which will go straight into my compost bin, and it'll get a fresh 3 or 4 inches of wood shavings. Start the process over.
I will say that people who were at the village board meeting who were anti-chicken did express concerns about smell.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the trustees expressed concerns about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I am not smelling anything bad. I can smell the hay and the sawdust, and we're outdoors, so it smells
Like outside?
green, yeah. But it's not a bad smell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of eyeing this little chicken turd here.
Yep.
That is chicken manure.
It is. That has
Kinda dried
probably been in there for a month or several weeks at least. But you can tell it's
So
dried
the smell
out.
has evaporated.
Right. I was concerned about smell too before I got this coop and these chickens. But not once since I got them have I smelled anything bad or repulsive. And I'm not Mr. Everyday tidy the coop. Like I'm responsible with it, But responsible for me means small chores once a week and 30 minutes once a month.
I heard your chickens talking a
Yep.
little bit. You know what they were talking about?
They wish that they could be in my backyard. But I keep telling them that day will hopefully come soon.
Do chickens vote?
Not yet, but we're fighting for their rights. These are all hens, female chickens. Most towns don't allow roosters because those are the big noisemakers. And what you're hearing now is about the loudest you'll hear from them, except maybe right after a hen lays an egg, which is, once a day-ish. They might make a slightly louder noise, but even that noise would be probably indistinguishable in a place like this.
Could I hold one of these chickens?
Absolutely, yeah. Might take me a second here to wrangle one of them.
Chicken wrangling. Right here.
New sport at TF South. I got her, there she is. All yours. Here, why don't you turn around that way? Just kind of hold the wings down a little bit. Grab the body.
This is how you hold the chicken. Right?
That's one way to do it. Looks like you're doing a pretty good job.
There. How photogenic is she? She's quite calm.
Very calm. Different
feels-
breeds might be a little noisier or quieter, but it's not hard to research to find the right fit for your yard, your family.
So even though she has a comb, she's a female.
Yeah, all
Oh,
four of
does
these are
that mean
females.
rooster?
Not necessarily, no. The rooster obviously is the big noisemaker. A lot of there's pretty common misconception about eggs. Hens, female chickens, don't need male chickens, roosters around to produce eggs. They only need the male to fertilize the egg in order for it to hatch and sort of grow into a new chicken. These four hens lay together, I would say, about 3 eggs a day on average between the four of them. That'll fluctuate some. That number will be less in the cold of winter. It's a little less now while they're molting their feathers. But most days there will be 3 eggs in the coop if you come out to check between the four of them.
How do you gather those eggs? Where are the...
Yeah, well, sometimes eggs will end up in the main coop area there, which I showed you. But these laying boxes are where most of the eggs will end up. There's 3 of these here. Each of them is about 1 square foot. You can actually see there an egg from today. Most eggs will end up here, and nice and easy to harvest them out however often you check for them. This is a fairly typical egg. It's brown. Most of the eggs we buy at the store are white because they're bleached. But this egg is ready to go off the bat. You could crack this and put it in a pan right now and have a delicious, if small, little snack in the afternoon here.
And you can tell the difference taste-wise between store-bought?
To be fair, I'm biased, but I think any objective egg taster could tell the difference, both in the taste as well as in the look. These eggs will be really rich golden yellow color, which I think is pretty different than most grocery store eggs. So yeah, they're I think better in just about every respect than typical eggs you get at a grocery store.
What else should our viewers know about chickens? Right next to Lansing.
Yeah, good question. I would probably say 2 things. Number one, it is a lot easier than I would ever have thought. A lot of the typical concerns out there about having to care for them and clean and all of that, I shared those concerns before getting my own experience with chickens. But it is so easy. It's so easy that sometimes I almost forget to check on them because they don't need constant attention. And then the second thing is it's so much more beneficial than I ever thought. Obviously the eggs are delicious, they're nutritious, they provide some portion of food security, right? All kinds of great benefits there. They're educational for the chickens are educational for children, I should say. Lots of fun for kids and adults alike. And even things like the bedding and the manure are awesome to recycle into your compost bin or into your garden. Grow vegetables. Chickens will eat the vegetable scraps. They'll poop again, right? It creates a sort of loop that allows you to create a healthier lifestyle. So the ease and the benefits are the 2 main things I would emphasize to anyone listening.
I do feel like chickens are very calming. She's just kind of sitting here
Yeah. All
It's a
the
nice
stress from
weight.
your day is falling off your shoulders.
on the shoulders of this chicken now. And if people have questions or want to visit your chickens, are you open for visitors?
Yeah, I'd be very happy. We're not in Lansing, but we're as close as it gets. I'm happy for you to share my email address. Anyone who sees the video here is welcome to reach out, come for a visit, maybe even take home a couple of delicious eggs if there are any. Yeah, very happy to do that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for hosting the Lansing Journal this week.
Absolutely, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah. This was a new experience for us, and we enjoyed learning about chickens from Chicken Man, Adam Barker.
Thanks, Melanie.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Ready to go home?